Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandrago's Cave. Today we are gonna be talking about Inktober 52 and the prompt is Polar. It's about time. I was missing to do the normal Inktober 52 for some time. If you have been following the channel a little bit, or if you are aware of Inktober, we had a little bit of a merge, as I've been explaining in my previous videos. So basically, during the month of October, that is the Inktober challenge, one prompt per day during the full months. During that time of the year, it merges with the bigger challenge of Inktober 52, that it's one prompt per week, every week of the year, okay? This time, it is my first time joining the Inktober 52 challenge, so these videos are the first time I'm doing these videos and this challenge ever. Inktober challenge, the one only for the month of October, I've been participating for several years, and you can find all my drawings in my Instagram account that I'm gonna be putting down below here. And yeah, so now last week, even because I'm doing a little bit of delay, I'm doing the prompt a little bit afterwards, so I have time to you know, do other drawings and other things that I want to do during the week and everything. So basically, I finished the challenge with Inktober, that I've done a mini story, mini comic and everything. You can click here in this video here to see one of the videos that I've been preparing. And yeah, Polar, that is actually I think on the list is listed as prompt 46, but we are actually, well, last week actually when they released this prompt was week 45 of the year, so it was a little bit of mismatch in the prompts, but Polar should be the 45th prompt on the list, okay? And soon, now, in a couple of days, around Friday more or less, they will release the prompt for this week that I'm trying to do, as I said, a couple of days later on, okay? So I have time enough as well to do the other drawings for One Piece and the theories and everything. So now we are back into business. I fancy drawing a polar bear, and because the prompt is polar, I want to go for the obvious, for polar bear. I haven't checked references from other people, what other people has been drawing or anything. I just want to do my own thing and see how it's gonna be. To be honest, I want to do a polar bear as well. Yesterday I was very lucky to be attending a online webinar. The fantastic animator Aaron Blaze did a presentation. Together the people of Wacom organized it, and you could join online, and it was like around 1 hour, 1 hour and a half of him drawing his polar bear from the short that he created recently, a short about polar bears, all hand-drawn, beautifully animated. He is a titan. For all of those who don't know who Aaron Blaze is, he is a man who worked in Disney movies in the golden era. He animated a lot of the stuff, you know, in Lion King movie, Aladdin, and movies like this. He animated Raja is the tiger from Aladdin movie, the massive tiger that Jasmine is walking around, that she has it as a pet. And yesterday basically he was telling us a little bit of his experience animating and some of the projects that he has been when the time of Disney, when he was still at Disney and everything. And I'm talking about 12, 14, 15 years ago. I think he left Disney around 2010 or something like that. And yeah, basically we have been in that webinar, and I don't think there was a lot of people. I could see a lot of comments in the chat, and a lot of talk and a lot of questions about, you know, working in industry, working as animator, as a character designer, how to design nice characters, how to take references from real life and everything. And he gave some nice, I would say, he gave some nice points referring to, let's modify this a little bit. I want to do a character, but I want to do a humanized character, anthropomorphic character, like I always do. Okay, so I am gonna go for a bear like this. We will do the thick type of legs like this as well, and everything, and probably we're gonna dress him a little bit. Okay, so this is a little bit of you know, I'm not drawing his character from the short that he just released now, and but I'm just fancy doing the concept of the polar bear. Okay, we do a little bit here, a little bit cartoony like I always do. So he basically gave nice tips about you know, checking references, like let's say to draw animals from the nature, like going into places to observe animals, going to the zoo as well to observe animals and things like this. He is not keen of kind of drawing from photos, because in the photo you are capturing a static moment, and he likes to see the animal in movement. That's what I gathered. Disney is famous, or at least when the golden era of the movies happened, like let's say Lion King, those are movies that they are traditionally made, they are drawn in paper in a massive animation desk, not drawn in computer, and colored as well. All of that stuff is all handmade. All these, you know, Snow White's in the very beginning, and Cinderella, and all of these movies, and you know, Pinocchio, Bambi, etc. So these people from that generation, they've done it old school. They've done it natural, how it used to be. And when I started animation as well, I done some animation in traditional, some animation in digital as well, and it's very beautiful. I enjoy it so much. But it's one of those things that for all of those that don't know about animation, is very, very time consuming. You need to be drawing all the time. If you're drawing, let's say, like 8 hours, something like that, and for a full week, you may have only a couple of seconds, if you are lucky, of animation in rough lines and everything, and there are many steps. So it was interesting to listen to him. I've been following him on social media for many years. I'm in his newsletter as well. Every now and then he will send these emails about I don't know why, but this polar bear is gonna be very interested in reading. Maybe he's studying some sort of something, and I'm trying to see if we can make him reading. Okay. It was very interesting to see his approach, you know. I follow him and I know a lot of his stuff, and I've seen, you know, he has a YouTube channel as well, and that I will put in the show more section that you can have a look. You know, he has kind of a school that he teaches as well, and you can have subscriptions with him and everything. It is very, very ideal person from who you can learn, let's say, because he has been deep into the animation industry, the film industry, and when all the boom happened with Disney, and Disney became so big and everything. I love to follow people like this, or I like to connect with them as whenever I can, because it is something that it teaches me so many things, and I'm able to see how they worked. I'm able to see many ideas of you know, techniques, secrets, and things that they did extra. For example, when I'm watching a movie, animation movie, or actual live action movie, sometimes I enjoy more the behind the scenes, seeing the animators, the creators, the writers, talking about how they made the project, how they made the movie, and what they used to create this or that. And yeah, maybe there are people out there that you are watching here the video, hello everyone, that you enjoy as well this part of the creation, and yeah, I think it's something very very beautiful. And if you are, this is like making video games. When you want to study video games, computer games, you need to understand, or when you want to study film and media or animation, obviously you need to like to play games, you need to like to watch movies and animations and shorts and everything, but you are not gonna be playing games or watching movies. You can do it as a reference, yeah, and as a way of learning and things like this, but you are working in the pipeline of the process. So you are, let's say, if this is a massive machinery with lots of cogs in the engine and everything, and you need to move, you need to be able to be part of that aspects, like for example how a story in animation or in live action or in a video game, in a comic, in illustration, in a book, or all the kind of creative projects that you are able to see on TV, let's say, or in cinema, work kind of similar, or for your video games work like similar. Like you will have like a pre-production part, a production part, and a post-production part. Basically, in the pre-production part, there will be teams of pre-production doing character design, props design, the script is developed there, the story is developed there, the storyboard is developed there, and everything. So they are basically preparing everything, all the sketches, all the faces, all the characters, how they're gonna look, the expressions, how they're gonna be. So basically, the pre-production part in animation is an initial idea, an initial part where you create a layout of everything that is going to be happening in the story, and then while you are finishing still things here, you enter in production. Production means basically, if it is an animated movie, the animators are going to be sitting there on the desks or on the computers, drawing frame by frame, so the story takes life, or animating in 3D, modeling the characters as well, modeling in ZBrush, Maya, different Blender, different programs, softwares that they can use. That's pre-production. And then it moves into production, that is basically the making of the animation of the movie, let's say. And then you have, when all of this part, that this is basically the longest part, we will say, because it consumes more time. You can be maybe in a couple of months, you could do a pre-production of a project. Let's say if you're a character designer, let's say 3 months working in this project, or half a year. Sometimes the character designers work with the animators, so all the little things that the character has, the animators are as well bringing it. Disney is famous as well for having Disney and Warner Brothers and Amblin and many companies, and even stop motion companies, for having models of the characters that, like a puppeteer or a modeler in traditional media has done, and you have the figurines on your desk as animator to see the references. Okay, depend of the project, and as well the budget to create the project. You can have some things or other things. Okay, and in this process of let's say to simplify it in these 3 steps, and then you go as well into post-production. In post-production, it will be a question of gathering all these animations together and making it in a longer clip, adding the sounds, the voices, and everything. During the production, you can work in 2 ways. You would have first recordings of the voices, or sometimes as well it happens in specific occasions that you have the animation, and then the actors would, the voice actors would do the dialogues and everything on top of the animation. But most of the time you have the 2 options combining as well, and all these things that you are gathering from pre-production, production, will end up in post-production being put together. So the movie is when takes, let's say, a final shape. If there is sound as well, and like in all the movies, you will put the sound there, and the effects, the special effects, if there's some kind of they will be created in production, and then they will be applied, and the sound of those effects and everything as well in post-production. And orchestra, music, and everything comes as well in post-production side. So I just basically kind of simplified in these three steps, these three parts, what a process in a movie, in a film, in the film industry, or in an animation project is. And that's why I always like to join this kind of webinars or talks, or anytime I can see something like that is interesting for me. And I studied animation, I studied fine arts and everything, and I find it very calling. It calls to me, and I like to learn, and I like to see how they do it, and yeah, I participated after doing my degree, after doing my masters and everything. Every now and then I will see these opportunities online, and I'll join. Some of them are maybe just 1 hour that you listen to someone like is an expert on the field, like Aaron Blaze, and he will be talking about his project with the short that he just finished now, that he's gonna be moving in different festivals now in theory. And then there are other things that I joined as well, other projects that I joined as well, that maybe they will give you kind of a refresher or some tips on how to improve your storyboard skills. And maybe that course is maybe 1 month, and you can follow week by week progress with drawings, and they give you feedback. Other ones, there will be maybe 1 day or 1 weekend, and you can see maybe how the pre-production of a specific series was done as well. I had a chance as well to be listening as well one of these online webinars in a nice and cozy Zoom call with the creators of Arcane as well, how they did the first season, the preparation of the characters and everything, and the preparation of the story and everything. And you could be how, depend of the project, how human and normal can be. Like at home, for example, I have on my wall different characters of my own, with stories of their own, that all of them interconnected create a bigger world. And I could see these guys from Arcane, Christian and Lee, basically showing the sketches, the ideas, the notes that they have and everything, so human, so normal. And I could see myself as well in them, like it is real to do all these things. For example, Aaron Blaze was working in Disney for many years. Then he left because he wanted to do his own things, and now he has his own practice, his own studio where he does all his things. And with the short and everything, he is doing something for himself, but in a small scale, in his studio with his group of people. I think he's working sometimes with his family as well, with his son and things like this, and people like this that are very close family. And yeah, so just so you are maybe starting in animation, starting in character design and everything, you can see that there is reality and possibility for us to create some things, even not having a massive studio like Disney or Warner Bros. Behind you. You can be consistent. That's what something very important that he said many times. Be consistent and keep drawing every day. You don't need to do every day, but keep drawing constantly. Be constant to get into the habit of being something natural, I'm talking, and I think we need to focus a little bit on the drawing. Okay, so we are doing here, I don't know, maybe because it's getting colder here and everything, I done yesterday as well, while listening to him and while doing the talk that you can see as well on Instagram, 3 uni dolphin brothers, and everything is explained on the Instagram, you can see it there, but basically I was listening and watching the talk and everything, and sometimes when I do these things I like to draw my own characters and do my own things. This is sometimes things that people do as well, like maybe you are watching a movie. I like to pay attention, very much attention to the movie, but yesterday I fancied, it inspired me as well to, while I was involved in this talk and you know, asking questions and everything and all these things, to have my own creative input. Like maybe I joined as well a Disney talk a few months back, and that was during a couple of weeks. Every now and then you will have, depend of the day of the week, one talk in different topics, and as well I was doing some drawings while listening to the people talking and while they were giving advice, because it motivates you a little bit to do your own thing. So I would like to hear as well, if you are maybe studying animation, what's your opinion about animation, how do you see everything, if you have any question that I can answer. I am not at the moment working professionally in the animation industry, but you know, I can, if I can help to answer any question or any kind of, I don't know, you want to go into university to study and things like this, and yeah, feel free to ask any kind of question that you want to ask. So here we have our polar bear, okay, and I think to be a Inktober drawing, I have gone really into the sketch. Normally, in my Inktober projects, I would do a very quick and easy drawing, and then do the line work, and then add a little bit of tone with the grays. Okay, so for now, I think it's time for me to start adding the line work. Okay, the short that he has, because a lot of people was asking yesterday, where can we watch it, this and this, or how can we do this, and basically the info that he gave for all of those, for all of you that want to know more or less, or want to watch it more or less, apparently he wants to move first through festivals and things. This is something that you normally do when you have shorts done, and you will present it to festivals, and in that festivals he's gonna maybe get an award or get something or get recognized or maybe nominated for something, and then slowly as it gets taken in importance and everything, at some point you can put it in any platform for streaming or things like this. Okay, so I had in mind as well, while drawing this bear today, you know, all the things that we are talking about animation and about Aaron Blaze and the animation industry, but I had in mind as well something like, I wanted like a body type like Baloo from the Jungle Book, that is a little bit like a balloon here. Okay, and so slowly we are kind of creating. Fancy doing the jumper, and as I said, I think it's getting cold here, and now lately I'm just drawing jumpers and jumpers. So this is gonna be an intellectual polar bear, okay, because it is important as well that we give a little bit of story, a little bit of background. When you create a character, it will come like that. So you will basically, when you do a brainstorm to define what a character is gonna be, for example, you will have a reason to be. So this character is gonna be doing this because, you know, maybe let's kind of have some ideas, no? So maybe he is an intellectual bear that is living, let's say, in the north, and there is no distractions for him. He's out of the ordinary, for example, and his only interest, for example, is reading. So he found these journals. Let's write here journal, and then some details here. Let's do some pages quick like this, like that, like this as well. So he's reading, very clever, very interested. He has his glasses. He found these glasses in a wreckage from an expedition to the area, the frozen area that he lives. And he found the glasses, he found a couple of journals, he found a jumper. So he saw these humans interacting with each other, being something strange, something different that he's not used to. And he decided to, you know what, I want more. I want to move from this place. I want to learn from life, from places and everything. And he decided to start studying these journals to see how he can make his way out of the area. Maybe. Okay, so here we have him standing, because this is something like in Pokemon, for example. In Pokemon Meowth, the cat from the Team Rocket, the Pokemon cat from the Team Rocket, he is like, oh, actually I learned how to by looking at people and everything. I learned how to talk and how to do this. Like, I thought I was a human. This is something as well that in Japanese culture, in some mangas or in some animes, they do every now and then. And there's a little bit of this. They will do as well, like for example in One Piece, Chopper, that as well he transformed into human and started acting human with the fruit that he had. And in One Piece you have Papuk as well, the star that is friends with Kami in the Gyojin Island saga, that he said, oh, they asked, oh, how were you able to talk? Why are you talking if you are just a starfish? And he said, oh, actually, you know, I saw everyone talking and I thought I was a human and I just started talking. So this is something the same. So I'm not making the feet. So he's standing on the snow. Now we'll leave it white like this a little bit. It's looking very nice. Looking very, very nice, very funny. And I think now I can add a little bit of tone. Something very important as well that he mentioned that I want to remark here, apart from the constant development, the constant practice of drawing and the constant practice of animating and everything, depend of the specialty that you want to do. Very important thing is that when you are drawing a character, that the character is telling something. No, don't draw just, especially when you are doing something more like cartoon or for a movie or for a story or something, you want to see something of the character already. So by this, even if it is a static pose and we don't have movement as such in this drawing, it's nice to explore movement, to see the dynamic. When you are doing character design, you will do different poses to see the action of what that character is doing, okay? And here, for example, if I would have developed more this to do a character design in general, not just a line work drawing, you could go for maybe all the story that we are talking, how he was behaving more animalistic, and then he found these objects, and he decided to maybe how he's getting dressed, like Winnie the Pooh with a jumper and all these things. But the important thing, interesting thing here as well is give him life. The concept of animation, that is something very important and something that he mentioned as well. It is not about moving the character and that's it. It is giving life to the character. Sometimes when you are watching a project, let's say, I'm calling it a project because it may be video game, movie, short, anything that you can think of. When you are watching a project, sometimes you connect a lot with a character and you say, oh man, how can I be connecting so much with the character? First of all, because the character is behaving human and is behaving natural, in a human way, natural. So something that you would do. Is eating like you would do, is walking like you will do, is feeling, is having feelings that you will do. Maybe the character is in love, or is upset, or is anxious about something, is nervous about something, and that is what will give life to your character, that he has something interesting in him, okay? And if you pay attention to that, every single character that you may think of any movie that it has been big, let's say, it has something like that. To give you an easy example, in Disney, if you like Disney, or if you don't like Disney but you probably have watched Disney movies when you were younger, or still watching it. I still watch movies Disney all the time. For me, it's not kids movie. For me, it's something that I do all the time. So for example, let's say Woody from Toy Story, the cowboy from Toy Story, he's the main character with Buzz Lightyear. This guy, very cool character, he's a toy and everything, from Pixar. That movie was done by Pixar at the point. Pixar at that point wasn't Disney. Disney was his own company. Later on it was bought by Disney. But that character in the story, you feel it so real and you understand it so much because it is the concept, it's touching the concept of jealousy a lot. When Buzz Lightyear comes into the house, the kid, Andy, is playing with Buzz Lightyear, it's decorating the room full Buzz Lightyear with the, the bed sheets and everything, the posters and everything, and he's kind of living the cowboy era, the Woody era behind a little bit. Until, later in the movie, he starts playing with both of them more, and the whole story develops. But Woody at the beginning, he feels a lot of hatred and a lot of jealousy towards Buzz because he's stealing. Basically, it's the concept of he's stealing his kid. He's his owner, and that is something with that all of us have felt at some point. The jealousy and very primal feelings. And that is why Disney worked so nice, even if most of the Disney movies, okay, the Disney animation studios, not the Pixar ones, not the 3D ones, the older movies, are taken from old tales and like Grimm's brother and places and authors like this that form the folklore of different places. They took the story and they made a representation of the story. Like now we are seeing as well with Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter and things like this, that we are having the stories, the movies, the remakes of the stories, the remakes of the movies, and all of these kind of directors and all of these producers are trying to make the story their own and making it in a different way. And it is very interesting, and it is a twist. But obviously, if you have already read the original book, or you have seen the original project, it may cause a little bit of let's say uncomfortability in the things that you do. There are characters as well, like I was talking about the Jungle Book with Baloo and Mowgli. They have this kind of father and son connection, but when at the end of the story in the Jungle Book, when Mowgli is curious about the girl and wants to approach, all of those things obviously are not in the book exactly like that. This is something that the directors decided and the writers decided to approach it in this way. So Baloo, with the concept of this fatherly concept towards Mowgli, could actually kind of feel this kind of, oh my god, I don't want my kid to leave me, I don't want my kid to leave the house and go and do this and that, because Mowgli at that point, Baloo already has spent some time with Mowgli and with Bagheera as well, and this concept of family was for Baloo as a father breaking a little bit and having to leave his kid going. So that is a very human feeling, that you are watching the movie as a family, or as a younger person, or even an older person, and you can feel identified in that moment with Baloo, maybe because you lived something similar, or with Mowgli because you are at that stage of life, or with Bagheera that wants to accept Mowgli living, oh, let him go with his people, and things like this. So I think now I'm talking about movies in general, but this for example, I'm mentioning animation movies and Disney movies from previous. Those are adaptations from previous existing stories. Okay, but I find it so compelling. You see, when I'm talking about something like this, it's basically for me, it's not just a movie. I try to look behind all the aspects of the movie, like in animation that we are talking, how the characters behave, and how the characters feel, and how the characters connect into the story, into the background, into the environment, if it is the jungle, if it is the desert, if it is a castle, all of these things. I recently finished reading the Aladdin story from the Arabian Nights, and it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the Aladdin from Disney that we know. I grew up with Disney movies. I grew up with Aladdin, with Hercules, with Lion King, with Cinderella, with Snow White, with Pinocchio, with all these movies. And for me, Aladdin is this thief guy who manages to, finds the magic lamp and manages to do these whole tricks. So my Aladdin is the Aladdin from Disney. But now, being a little bit older and reading through the original text and everything, I realized that they took a lot of license to adapt however they wanted to do something more suitable for the brand, because they are selling a cartoony version, more sweet version, more a little bit romantic version as well of the story, and making it more Disney. Okay, so like that in all the stories, if you read original Cinderella and everything with the glass high heel and everything, it's not exactly like that. Like the Sleeping Beauty is not like that. But we need to understand as well. I had a lot of trouble, to be honest, recently, and I think I mentioned it in a previous video. I had a lot of trouble with Lord of the Rings. I am a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. First of all, I discovered it through the movies, Peter Jackson movies. I loved the original trilogy. I loved The Hobbit as well afterwards. It is not the same, but it's good. It's quite good. But the original movies, I love them. So because of that, I started collecting books, different aspects of the Tolkien verse, let's say, and how the world was created with the Silmarillion, with the books and everything, multiple books. So I read and reread Tolkien a lot. Not as much as Christopher Lee, Sauron's actor, because he said he used to read Lord of the Rings every single year. I don't do that, but I read it constantly every now and then. I have a very beautiful and nice special edition I bought, very colorful, very beautiful. It's a full pack that I bought recently, and I haven't had a chance to read yet because I was full on into rereading Harry Potter right now. But soon I'm gonna go into that as well. And how I know already so many things about, and if you are someone doing a project and you need me to have a look about something relating Harry Potter, relating Lord of the Rings, relating One Piece, relating Disney, just feel free to contact. Let's open conversation, because maybe I read and I study these things too much. But to be honest, I struggled with the Rings of Power. We're seeing how Sauron was doing this, Galadriel was doing that, and then we had multiple other characters in different places at the same time that I had such a strong feeling with the Tolkien story that I could see all the little bits of adaptations that the showrunners, the creators, were trying to make their own, and my brain and my soul and my heart, it couldn't process it for me. I would say, if you have read the books, how can you adapt this in this way? So for me, it's a okay series. something that probably I would not watch again. I will not do a rewatch. I watched season 1, and then before the season 2 came out, I watched again season 1 and season 2. And for me, it's not one of these series like Harry Potter or original Lord of the Rings that I will every now and then be rewatching it again, because for me it was lacking a little bit of soul, a little bit of reality, a little bit of touch. If you haven't read the books, you haven't read the Silmarillion, you don't know anything about Sauron, you don't know anything about Galadriel or Gandalf or Saruman or Tom Bombadil, if you don't know about these characters and you watch the series, okay, it's a okay series, it's new, a lot of CGI, special effects, that I think it's a little bit overdone, to be honest. I was expecting a pump, like the Balrog is nicely, beautifully done in this second season, but to be honest, the Balrog looks exactly like 20 years ago we had it with Peter Jackson, with Weta Digital and everything, so I couldn't see an improvement in that part, the clothing as well. So as I said, there are many aspects when you are creating a show, when you are creating a movie, when you are creating an animation movie, that you need to keep in mind to make sure that all the steps in the process are done, and the pre-production is very accurate and very well prepared. So when you go into production and the continuous work of animation, let's say in animation specific, starts, you pick all those details. And for me, there are some series that they are done beautifully. Arcane is one of those that I can't wait to see more and more episodes being released in these weekends. But there are things like Rings of Power that for me it needs a strong pump to be able to be impactful, I would say, to make and become legend like my generation and older generations, even younger generations. We grew up with these movies like Lord of the Rings and things like this, and even if I know that the classics, when you say something is a classic, it needs to belong to a specific time, a specific era, and it needs to be in a specific time. But at some point, these kind of stories, these kind of movies, these kind of shows, they become the new classics, okay? In another bundle of classics. And with Rings of Power, that wasn't able. Everything looked forced. Many aspects that we nowadays touch in real life are put in the series very forced. It don't fit. It doesn't fit with the original story. It doesn't fit with the previous movies. I know this is an independent project, but you have such a strong idea. It's like you are telling me now that Mickey Mouse is gonna be in a different way because I'm redoing Mickey Mouse, because I am another team redoing Mickey Mouse. But the essence of Mickey Mouse, you can't take it, even if you redo it. Now we have a super cartoon, extremely cartoon, like I would even say almost Steven Spielberg level of cartoony Mickey Mouse, but it works anyway because the soul of the character, the attitude and the feeling of the character, it keeps being the same. But this is just me talking and you know, sharing with you my opinion and my knowledge about animation industry, film industry, how things work and how things need to be done for, in my opinion, to be able to work. Okay, I am not a random person talking about random stuff. I have my studies in art, many years of studies. I worked in academia, I worked in animation, I worked in industry and everything, and I worked as a freelance as well, and I can see those things. When I watch a movie, I not only see a movie, I see the process and the steps. And if in a movie, let's say in an animation movie like Moana, they added a specific extra mile of detail and behavior for the hair, and I haven't read about it, and then I watch the movie and I say, ooh, something is happening with the hair here, I'm gonna investigate it, and I will investigate it, read about it, and see, actually, yeah, they use this new technique, they use this new way of making things, and yeah, it's very interesting, and that is what I do. So yeah, I think we finished the video for today. We draw the polar concept for Inktober 52 and drawn a polar bear interested in reading, because probably he wants to escape here. It doesn't look like he wants to escape. It looks like he's very, very comfortable reading the journals. Maybe we can say that he is just a polar bear interested in reading, interested in things from the world, interested in traveling, but maybe he's at the first stage. If I would develop more this character and develop more stages of him, we could make him like seeing the process, like, okay, he found these items, he's kind of using the items, and then he goes beyond that, he crosses the threshold, and he actually starts wanting to pursue what is here in the journal and trying to find an adventure. So everything has a process, and you need to find the humanity and the interest. What is the character wanna do? Okay, is he just want to read, or are we gonna push it beyond that point, that he actually wants to follow the journal, follow the story, and become more and more humanized, let's say, for example. Okay, and yeah, many questions when you create a character. Why is he able to read if he was a polar bear? So all those things, you do it in the brainstorm, in the pre-production part, and then the animation comes in, and the life to the character starts to be given. That even with the original drawings, with the character design and the poses and the actions and the expressions, you already see the life in the character. Okay, even if it is a static movement. So I would say we are finished for today. Let's sign. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23, you can say it as you want, and this is the Mandrago's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the drawing and my talk, and if you have any question, any discussion, any kind of thing that you want to mention, let's open an open conversation in the comment section, and I will love to talk about things. Yeah, so I see you in the next one. Thank you very much, and follow, like, subscribe, and all these things, and see you. Bye.